Hello everyone, how are you? If you're new here, hi, my name is Bello and I am a software engineer, and this video is super special to me because we are going to be giving advice to new coders. And yes, I said we, even though I'm alone in my room, just because I called on some of my friends to help me out with this video so that we can get different types of advice to new coders. So when I was first learning to code, whew, I struggled. I struggled so much. I did not know what was going on. I did not know how to break down my code. I was really not good at even like reading code and actually tracing through a program. Like, I struggled with all of that. I would look at my code and I'll just look at it and just hope that something would come to me. So that was totally the wrong approach. So I hope that this video will give you some tips and also just encouragement, because everyone and anyone can learn to code. You just have to put in the work. So if you are like me, or if you would like some advice, if you're a new coder, then this video is definitely for you. Let's roll the intro music. If you can write hello world, you can change the world.
So things that really helped me out were doing the tutorials, yes, but what helped me level up, I guess, with the tutorials was trying to break it. After I built it and after I followed the steps, if it went successfully, I would try to add different things. For an example, if I was building out a chat app and it just covered, text, then I would add audio and video to it to try to really learn something new in addition to what I already just learned.
My name is Nicole Young, and I am a freelance self-taught developer and designer here in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Find a community. I think that one of the best things that I could have done when I was just getting started was trying to build a community around me of people who knew what they were doing, and some people who were on the same track as me. It's just great to have accountability when you're learning something like this, because it's not easy and you will need some push and motivation. And I think having people who are supporting you around you is awesome when you're first getting started.
Hey, it's Toby the Great here. If I could give one piece of advice for a new coder or someone just looking to dip their toes into the world of software development, I would say to figure out what kind of interest you have or hobbies that you do, and see how, if possible, they can relate to coding in some way. Like, let's say you're really into basketball like me. Maybe you can make a website with HTML and CSS showing all the latest scores and stats for your favorite basketball players. Or if you're interested in video games like Fortnite, you can make a high score list, or you can use some kind of API to get all the different kinds of stats for weapons or items in your respective games. In general, sometimes coding gets really tough, and it's easy to get discouraged when things don't make sense or the code you're writing just won't compile. When that happens, finding different kinds of projects, things that really interest you, sometimes I think can bring out that new level of motivation and can really help you accomplish those things.
So I really like Toby's advice of picking a project you are passionate about. Now, I know it's hard to pick a project, and that's a question a lot of new coders have, like, what project should I work on? So after following Anton's advice of after you do the typical to-do app, or you do the typical calculator, after you've added a little twist to it to make it your own, then after that really pick a project that you would find interesting. So maybe it's making a website, but the type of website is nails or something. I have no nails, quarantine life. Are you interested in games, or analyzing data? Look up, beginner games in Python, in Java, and that's really how you can start, building up your different projects. And for what looks better on a resume, whatever you are more passionate about looks better on a resume, because all the recruiter is really going to see is okay, project in Python, and then if the recruiter's interested in it, they might ask you to explain more, but the project doesn't matter. But what they care about is if they can feel your passion.
Most of the job is just problem solving, so getting comfortable with not knowing the answer but finding good ways to find the answer is going to be really effective for helping you out initially. some resources obviously are like Stack Overflow, but don't be afraid to read the documentation and read the GitHubs for most of these projects.
So I completely love that advice of being comfortable with getting uncomfortable. Like, you are learning something new. Like, it's totally okay if you struggle with something. I think what is great is that when you are in those uncomfortable situations, that means you're trying something new. Like, let's say every day you were coding the same thing. Then of course that's going to be easy breezy lemon squeezy because you're coding the same thing every day. But when you actually branch off and you try a new language or try a new technology, please be kind to yourself. And that's why I love Anton's advice. Like, this is going to be a journey. Something that I would do is that if I had just learned one thing that day, you're good. I would change my goals from, okay, I want the whole assignment to be complete, to, okay, I want to learn 5 new things today. And it's like, as you learn and as you continue to code, then you will continue to grow. And slow progress is still progress, people. So even if you just learned one thing, that is one thing you didn't know yesterday. So some of you might already see what the error is, but as you can see me copy the error and then paste it into Google. Now, this was something I did not understand how to do when I was first learning to code, but this is exactly what Anton is saying, using your resources. So you can see here, I'm reading an article about different syntax errors and what might cause it, to see if that can help me solve the problem I have. And just don't look at one resource. Look at multiple resources until you are able to resolve your error. So a very popular website that software developers and engineers use is Stack Overflow. And then also change what you are searching up. So before, I was looking up syntax errors and I had the error message, but I didn't add for loop. And for loop was what I added to my code where the error was happening. So don't be afraid to explore in this way what you are typing into Google. A joke that they make is that software engineers are just really good at Googling instead of programming. So then finally you can see in this article, I can finally find out what the error was with my code.
My advice to all people who are new coders out there is just to keep going. I know how difficult it can be when you're just getting started, how hard and how much of a struggle it can feel. I know too, if you're someone that is a part of a minority group like women and people of color, it can sometimes also feel really isolating. And trust me, like, I know I understand it so much, but when I tell you that I think that the best decision I could have made was to start coding and getting into tech, it truly is like the best decision that I've made in my life, not only for the opportunity that is provided me, but also just for the sheer freedom that I'm able to experience that's far beyond the freedom that I've ever been able to experience in my previous parts of my career. So I definitely think that it's worth it. All right, I love you guys and I'm rooting for you.
So now Nicole's advice, it hits home because at the end of the day, do not give up. Do not give up. Keep pushing, keep trying. You can do this. You're going to have your hard days where it's just bug after bug after bug. Then you're also going to have your good days where you kept trying, you kept learning, you kept pushing, and now you have some code that works. So I know this journey is not easy. I know sometimes you might be learning a certain concept and it's not clicking. That is okay as long as you just don't give up. Something I like to do when I'm getting frustrated is I set a timer and I'm like, okay, let me take a break. I go take my break and then after that I come back to it. So I'm like, okay, I don't have any goals to accomplish anything. My only goal is to learn. Just learn something new, and that's what kept me motivated. Like, I have so many different just journals that I have where I just list out what I'm learning, and it's just so great to see how the questions I have change and how I learn new things, and that's really kept me motivated. Like, just to see that list of things is just, it feels good, you know? So I just want to say, keep going, keep trying. You can do anything you put your mind to. And I hope you enjoyed this video. Bye.
So what made you start with C++?
So I was just researching, learning online, like reading a lot of different articles on learning to code. I think at the time, maybe like President Obama was doing like an hour a day code
Oh,
commercials or something like that. And I read a couple of things just about like computer scientists when they first go to school and languages at that time. And they were learning like Python, Java, and C++. And I found like a random app on in the Play Store, and I was able to learn C++ virtually just from my phone.
Want to take your coding to the next level? So I'll still teach coding for free on my YouTube channel, but I also offer consultations. I spend an hour with you and we can review your resume, do a Python tutorial, or talk about computer science.